Is it possible to rent an army to help fight a war, invade a city, or intervene in a crisis? George W. Bush did it in Afghanistan and then again in Iraq. Putin has done it in Syria. Even actor and activist Mia Farrow explored the possibility of hiring a private military to intervene in the Darfur crisis in 2008. So, what is a private army anyway? Private military contractors, or PMCs, are companies that have armed military operatives for hire. The global industry for private armies is worth more than $200 billion. States, multinational corporations, and even individuals can rent a soldier for $500 to $750 a day. They can do anything from assisting in conflict to protecting officials and natural resources such as oil fields, training military, or simply providing logistics. Private armies are similar to mercenaries that have existed for centuries. While mercenaries are uncontrolled individuals, PMCs are regulated corporate businesses who can legally hire mercenaries. In the 1990s, private armies boomed when states started to downsize their militaries after the end of the Cold War. These private corporations hired laid-off soldiers, and states began outsourcing some of their military functions to private contractors. And soon it began to change the course of wars. In 1995, Sierra Leone was in the midst of a civil war, and the rebels were going to overtake the government and the capital, Freetown. But a few months later, everything changed. The government regained control and drove the rebels out after the state had hired Executive Outcomes, a South African PMC with helicopters and artillery. But the use of PMCs has always been controversial. Critics say it allows governments to participate in questionable activity without getting their hands dirty. Take Blackwater, now called Academy, a US-based PMC founded by ex-Navy SEAL Eric Prince. Soon after 9/11, President Bush got the CIA to form a top-secret assassination unit to find and kill Al-Qaeda operatives, and the CIA decided to outsource the task to Blackwater. Running operations through Blackwater gave the CIA power to abduct or kill people with no one in the government held responsible. During the war in Afghanistan and the invasion of Iraq, there was one private contractor for every US soldier on the ground. After 2009, that number tripled. They were used to protect diplomats, provide logistics support, and though they weren't designed for combat, they did respond to hostilities. Then there's also the issue of PMCs grossly violating human rights. This leaked 2005 trophy video of presumed Aegis Defence Services operatives shooting civilians at random in Iraq while listening to an Elvis Presley song sparked an international outcry. In 2007, 4 Blackwater guards were involved in a shootout in Iraq, leading to the death of 17 civilians. The Iraqi government called the civilian deaths a killing, but due to the murky legal status of the contractors, they couldn't be prosecuted under Iraqi law. Later that year, a congressional report linked Blackwater to 195 shootings in Iraq. And it's not just civilians that are at risk. PMCs have been accused of being so profit-driven that they neglect security and put their own employees at risk. Incidents like these raise questions around the legal status, management, and accountabilities of PMCs. Private militaries are criticized for performing state functions that aren't regulated by frameworks set up to vet employees and weapons or monitor their activities. In 2008, the Montreux document was launched by the Red Cross and guides state use of private military and security companies. But the document is not legally binding and doesn't hold states or PMCs accountable. So should states be allowed to hire private armies?